forgive me for this trap shit. Sergeant Smack make it backflip. Telly Hank did with the action. With the Vato speaking Spanish. Frank Matthews, how I vanish. Poof. Came back like I'm King Tut. Gold BBS is on a beamer. When Fat Cat was 10 queens up. Ball off the profit, not the re-up. Fly like Puerto Rican Jesus. Uptown like I'm Baby Maine. Just caught a touchdown from the Bay.
Back here live, let's talk about the motive for this. Why would 5 people, including 2 sisters, allegedly be involved in something like this? I am told by sources that the mother of the 2 sisters overdosed on a fentanyl-laced heroin dose. They blamed a man that Angela Nielsen was with. And when they caught up with Nielsen, the allegations here is that she was killed.
Our fire department received the run, came out to put the fire out, and discovered her body in the trunk.
It happened January 29th. A young woman named Angela Nielsen was abducted by a group of people, stuffed into the trunk of a car. That car was then set on fire, burning Nielsen alive.
A Detroit mother, the innocent victim of a brutal murder police say happened at the hands of 2 sisters, one now a top fugitive for the U.S. Marshals.
7 Action News reporter Anne-Marie LaFlame has the hunt for the dangerous woman in this week's Detroit's Most Wanted.
Police say the horrific murder of Angela Nielsen at the hands of Chevelle Runnels is one of the worst they've ever seen. So brutal, in fact, that we have to warn you, the details of this case are disturbing.
This is where initially the person set the victim Rico up.
Police say it was a setup in the early morning hours of January 29th. Simone and Chevelle Runnels luring Furman Rodriguez, known as Rico, to this home on Detroit's west side. They say the sisters and their friends believe Rico had something to do with their mother's death, something police say is unfounded and the medical examiner ruled as an overdose.
They beat him to a pulp. They hit him with hammers. They knifed him. The victim actually played dead. He laid down, played dead for a second. Once they stopped beating him, then he managed to run away, escape.
But Rico didn't come to that meeting alone.
Well, they realized that there's another witness who witnessed this whole thing.
28-year-old Angela Nielsen was now left by herself in the car.
Well, she sees what occurs to Rico, and they come up to her, and Chevelle makes the order. She's not going away.
That's when the brutal beating of a man turned into a horrific death for this innocent mother of 2.
Chevelle and her crew, they end up kicking Angela, they shove her in the trunk, and they drive away. They're caught on video shortly after getting gas, getting kerosene. Then they drive away with her in the trunk.
Police say the Runnels sisters and their crew drove her to this isolated industrial area of the Del Rey neighborhood.
Vehicles found burning, and Angela, the victim, who did nothing at all, had zero involvement in this whole thing, she was found burned to death, and she was burnt alive. The investigation by Detroit Police Department determined she was burnt alive at the time.
Police have arrested and charged everyone involved in this heinous murder, including Simone Runnels, but her sister, the woman police call the ringleader, 31-year-old Chevelle Runnels, is still on the run.
Chevelle, the girl we're looking for, makes a comment basically to the sort of, I could hear her choking when we poured the gasoline in the trunk.
Police say Chevelle Runnels has no remorse and should be considered armed and dangerous. She's 5'7", 160 pounds. Now, as always, there's a cash reward for any information leading to the arrest of Chevelle Runnels. You can call the U.S. Marshals anytime at 313-234-5656. And remember, you can remain anonymous. I'm Anne-Marie LaFlame, 7 Action News.
All right, thank you so much, Anne-Marie.
Now, this is an overall sad story, but it pulls at your heart even more when you dig into the details. What up, though? It's Shay's Popalot. We back on mob business. Now, with us living in the times that we living in the U.S. experiencing all-time high with opioid overdoses, it is ravishing families and generations in ways that we can't even imagine. Now, this story that we're covering today is going to take us to the great state of Michigan. Y'all go ahead and meet us in the D, the southwest side. And I'm going to do my absolute best to tell you the tale of 2 sisters, Simone and Chevelle Runnels. Their lives would change forever right at the top of the year in 2018 when they would discover their mother dead from an apparent drug overdose. And just like we all know, a lot of times with death, people are going to experience grief. And also, a lot of times, depending on the circumstances of the death, you're going to experience anger. And according to DPD, it's going to be that anger that they're going to say led the older of the two sisters, Chevelle Reynolds, to plot revenge on the person that she assumed to be responsible for the death of her mother. And everything would unfold on January 29th, 2018, when the police will find a car burnt out on Detroit's southwest side. Now, the car will be found on the 100 block of Foreman in a remote industrial area not far from Zug Island. And the car burnt out would be a 1997 Toyota Tercel. And in the beginning stages of the investigation, like most bodies that I assumed are found in the trunk, the police were unable to identify the victim, so much so that Fox 2 Detroit would report that it was a male victim found inside of the trunk of that vehicle. It wouldn't be until a little over a week after that date, on February 8th, 2018, the victim had actually been a female, a 28-year-old mother by the name of Angela Nielsen, who, according to the father of her children, had fallen on to rough times and recently had found herself in a situation where she had been battling drug addiction. She had even been caught up in one of the women that had been rounded up in the notorious Victory Inn prostitution ring that we spoke on when we covered Derek Ghost Bell from Detroit. And just a few years later, in January 2018, according to the Detroit Police Department, she just will find herself at the wrong place at the wrong time when the two sisters, along with several other individuals, a female by the name of Aliyah Dickinson, another female by the name of Felicia Bowles, and a male by the name of Demisio Marble, would be looking to exact revenge on the drug dealer that the two sisters deemed responsible for their mother's overdose, suspecting possible fentanyl. Now, the drug dealer, a guy by the name of Furman Rico Rodriguez, would be lured to a meeting by the two sisters. And when he would arrive at that meeting, he would be stabbed, beaten with a hammer, and assaulted by the group. And it was said that only after he played dead that Rico was able to escape that group. But things was just getting started, because left at that scene would be Angela Nielsen in the vehicle that Rico had driven up in. And it would be then, according to the Detroit police, where they would say that Angela Nielsen would be tortured in only what I'm assuming the same fashion that Rico had been, before she would be stuffed in the trunk of that Toyota Tercel and the vehicle would be lit on fire. Now, after reviewing gas station surveillance footage in the area, it wouldn't be long before the police would be on to the three other individuals, but it wouldn't be so easy with the two sisters. They would eventually find and arrest the younger of the two sisters, Simone, after the media in Indianapolis would post a bolo or a be on the lookout for her after they would find out that the two sisters had family in Indianapolis. But it would take a little bit longer to catch up with Chevelle Reynolds, and they would only catch her after receiving help from the U.S. Marshals when they would place her at the top of their most wanted list. She would be eventually arrested in the same area of the city where the crime occurred, Southwest Detroit, after the police would receive an anonymous tip. And not that it's sad enough that pretty much 2 generations probably had been wiped out with the overdose of their mother and them facing possible incarceration. The more sadder things is that the authorities said that they didn't even suspect fentanyl as being the cause of her death. But I guess when you're talking about somebody's mother, I guess that don't matter one way or the other. They probably just wanted the person that was responsible, or they deemed responsible, with the sale of that drug, no matter what it would be. Now, I feel like I know the answer to a lot of these questions that I ask y'all, but I have to tell myself that not everybody is like me. What are you doing in a situation like that? If it was let's not even say your mom, let's just say your brother, let's just say a cousin, a sister, a family member, and they overdosed on fentanyl. Is the person that sold them that dosage responsible for their death? And if you determine that they are, is it a cause for retaliation? Now, y'all get in the comment box. Y'all let me know. I definitely appreciate to hear what y'all have to say on a lot of these topics. Y'all make sure y'all hit the red subscribe button and the bell right under this video so y'all know when this real Trill Spill shit is dropping. Like I said earlier, y'all get in the comment box, run it up. I definitely love to see what cities y'all are tuned in from. I definitely need y'all down there to let me know what stories I need to cover, what gangsters I missed, what I got wrong. Y'all know to tap in with me directly on Instagram, Twitter, POP_A_LOT. Until then, I appreciate y'all tapping into the streets. It's your lad, Popalot. Salute the almighty mob.